Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Stony Creek and Poor Valley Railroad. Tonight is project night, and as you can see, we've got a Williams FM Trainmaster in front of us. This is an older model that only has forward in it, and we are going to today install this modern Williams E-unit into it and convert this to be able to run forward and reverse. So sit back and enjoy. All right, as you can see, I've now got the engine in our cradle, and we're going to take out the two end screws that hold the shell on. There's the first one. And here goes the second. And we'll take it out of the shell and set our cradle aside for the time being. And there we go. So there's our unit. All we have is two motors, two lights, and one bridge rectifier. So this bridge rectifier will be removed and the E-unit installed and the wiring harnesses attached. So I have to decide where I'm going to mount the E-unit, and I have to decide also where I am going to mount the E-unit bypass switch. So that'll take a couple of moments. So I've been looking it over, and as you can see, I really don't have an ideal place on the bottom to put my E-unit bypass switch. You can see by the way that the running gear pivots that anything placed onto the metallic parts of the frame is going to be a problem. And then the mounting of the fuel tank is via these heat rivets. And so I'm going to use this chassis screw that was used previously for the bridge rectifier. So I'll mount the board there. And for the time being, I'm just going to not install the bypass switch. So stand by. All right, you can see here that we have our new E-unit mounted. I just used the screw hole that was there from removing the bridge rectifier. I've traced the wires on the bridge rectifier, and you'll notice here on the plus side and on the minus side, I've actually got only one connection. So if we trace those, so here's the plus, and it is going up to the front motor, then going back here to the plus side of the rear motor, the negative, going backward from the rear motor, comes up to the front, and then back over to the rectifier. And then we also have the lights coming off the positive side of each motor. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to desolder the bridge rectifier, and then we're going to get ready to install the new wiring for the E-unit. Upon further consideration, instead of desoldering the old rectifier, I'm just going to snip it out. So there we go. That is my pickup. And here is my ground. And this is my positive for the front motor, or excuse me, the rear motor. And this is my second pickup. And then my negative. All right, so the rectifier is out. Now we need to strip these wires that I just did. So looks like these are about 24 gauge. And what we're going to do is we're going to strip all of this such that there is enough room to twist them together and test it before doing the final soldering. That way I am sure that I don't have any surprises hit me. It's the fifth one stripped. And where's the last one hiding? I know I cut 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Apparently I only cut 5. Double check that on the rectifier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. There were only 5. All right. So I am reviewing the manual. What a crazy idea, right? Okay, we are not going to be using the lockout switch. So I'm going to set that aside as well as its hardware. Then we are going to take one of our 4-wire harnesses. And it says to plug the front motor into socket number 2, which is this one. And the other 4-wire gets plugged into socket number 3, which is this one. Yeah, that's the way I want it. Okay. Wow, this is going to be easy. Because I've just realized that with the way these wires are routed, it's going to be just easier for me to solder directly to the motors because I've got plenty of room to cover both motors. So I am going to just simply desolder the wires from the motors. And I believe that since now we are going to be running off the board, I don't need to have these lines for serial connectivity anymore. To make sure that my hole is open when I do this desoldering. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Nope, not yet. There we go. Excuse the back of my bald head. All right. So now it tells me that my red wires here, 1, 2, should be going to my pickup wires. So we're going to twist the pickup wires together. Very good. And then we will twist our... Actually, I'm going to strip back the reds just a little bit more so that we could twist them together. Oh, and while I'm thinking about it, yes, thank you for reminding me. I am putting shrink wrap onto these joints. There we go. All right, now we'll strip back these 2 reds. That one didn't want to strip so generously. Strip this one. May end up being somewhat of a long video, but if you're good with that, so am I. I really like, when I'm watching a video, I do like to see the gory details. So I'm going to give you guys what I like. Okay. Okay. When it comes time to flow the solder, that should go pretty good. Gotta get this last guy back in there. That way it'll handle going over switches okay. And by the way, you guys are learning with me. All right. So that's got that one. The black is a frame ground. So we're going to lengthen that, and we're actually just going to simply solder it in place. Tinned wires just don't like getting stripped. All right, there we go. We'll twist these two guys together, and then we'll reach over for the soldering iron and tack it in place. Before I forget, I'm going to tighten up this board a little bit more. I don't like it tilting like that. Do you ever lose tools on your workbench? I do. Yeah, that feels better. Much better. All right. There. You content? We now have a... All right. Now I win. I got a little screw out of my collection, screwed it in just a little way into that hole there in the chassis, and I soldered to the screw instead of trying to solder to the chassis. I now have a good, solid mechanical ground. Now on to the motor connections. So it says that I need to be consistent about which side of the motor the yellows and the blues go to. So we are going to put the blues on this side, or excuse me, the blues are going to go to positive, the reds are going to go to, or the yellows are going to go to negative. So here we go. All right, I've already done one of the positives to make sure I knew what the heck I was doing. So let's do this second one. We'll pick up a little bit of solder here. And this positive for the rear motor. We'll get the line untangled here. And it will just simply go onto this connection here. Very straightforward. All right, that's got our positives. Now we got to do our negatives, which are these yellows. The top one goes to the front, which is right here. Pick up a little bit of solder for it. Don't do that. It could burn you. Just scrub my tip a little bit. All right, good. A little solder on there. And boom. And those who are permitted to criticize uh, my soldering technique are those who are willing to come to my house and do it yourself. Not that you would be unwelcome. There we go. Got that one done. Doing this one more correct. Oh, hold it with the iron, flow it on, and release. Oh, all right. That is all of the connections. We are ready now to actually take this out to the track, give it a test run. So let's take it to the track. Well, for those of you who caught it, there definitely was already a short. I had included the ground wire into the positive bundle, but got another problem. My two motors are fighting against each other, so I need to go back and reverse my connections. Stand by. Okay, on this rear motor, I reversed the yellow and blue, but I also had to reverse the hot for the light. I also have soldered on that stray ground wire. And now, neutral. There we go. Looks like it's got a little bit of crankiness in it, but well, I will figure this out. This is interesting now. But I'm going to put it back together, and we'll see how well it runs. I think it's going to be a great puller. All right, after doing a little bit more work on it, I finally got it to behave like I expect. So there's our forward, there's our reverse, and neutral. Well, that didn't sequence correctly. All right, this has a little bit of a sticky relay somewhere. But if I cycle on my Z4000 using the direction button, you can see it cycles properly. So I think that it's just the issue where a Z4000 never drops the voltage to true zero, and so the board is not releasing. But in any event, she is up and running. I am content. I think I've got what will now be a great puller. So we're going to put the shell back on, hook up some cars, and have some fun. All right, here we go. Shell's back on. Let's do a little bit of running. All right, there we go. So this is the process of adding a Williams reverse unit. With that, have a great day wherever you are. And God bless you. Take care. Bye-bye.